Hi, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to our Berani Bersama page. I'm Reza Salleh, your host for hashtag Berani Bersama Conversations. And as we had promoted today, we are going to have a special guest with us today at 4 o'clock as well as 6 p.m. later this evening. Now, for those of you who hasn't been on the page and are on the page, and of course, you can always go to our pages at fb.com/Berani Bersama MY and contribute there. Of course, all the information is just down here. Don't forget to donate and log on to www.launchgood.com/Berani Bersama MY. Now, without further ado, I am really excited to have my very first guest, and thankfully it's a female because, you know, it's a lot easier speaking to another, I wouldn't say I'm a female, but another woman, because since I have 5 sisters in my own family. And she is, there we go. Hi, Joe from Music Nation. Thank you very much for joining us. You are my very first guest, our very first guest on Berani Bersama Conversations. And thank you very much for giving us the time to be here with us as well.
Thank you so much for having me, Rashid. And thank you, Berani Bersama, for doing this. I think it's a great cause, yeah.
Okay, so basically, everyone's making a contribution in one way or another towards this pandemic fund, or rather MERCY Malaysia COVID-19 pandemic fund, and hopefully we're going to get a lot of donations. Now, Music Nation, tell us a bit about Music Nation and how you guys came about, and especially from your own experience.
So Music Nation is my baby. It's only me. It's a one-man show, and I started it when I first came back from the States about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now, with only music education in mind. So I teach voice and basic keyboard as well. But then as it progresses and I started doing more shows, meeting more musicians, that's where Music Nation Speaks, came to be, because I wanted to talk to my fellow musicians, get to know them better, and also, just have a more intimate conversation and real conversation with my fellow musician friends. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. What were you studying when you were before you came? Obviously, something music related.
Yeah.
What?
So
Yep, go.
Oh, so I was in Berklee College of Music in Boston, and my degree was in songwriting. Yeah.
That's interesting. What made you go into music?
Oh, I mean, I think that's the only thing that I know how to do, and I know what to do since I was a teenager, because my mom, she's a huge music enthusiast, and I think she was trying to live vicariously through me and my siblings. So it's like, okay, four of you guys, yeah, you each have to learn piano and violin, and then you have to go into music. So yeah, not have to, but you have to finish all the exams and things like that. So yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
it was a no-brainer. Yeah.
So basically, you went to probably the top. Berkeley is probably probably the top music, I call it, university. And so you came back. What was your first thoughts when you came back?
Well, so much has changed, but at the same time, people. It's nice to see some things never change as well. Like, for example, the food never changed. In fact, it got a lot better. But, I think specifically about on our music scene, right? Like, I've never been more grateful and more thankful to have our circle of musicians and our music scene, just because everyone knows everybody, and if you don't know, you're bound to meet them eventually. So I feel like we have a really good Muhibah community here in Malaysia, and I really, really miss that. Yeah.
Now, I know, I mean, being in the arts for the last, going to show my age, about 20 over years, we have had, oh dear, the secret's up. We have a lot. Okay, once you're done, I'll let you go. All right, we've had a lot of talented, talented people and performers, singers, songwriters, dancers, and even more so now. Do you think that is something that's we're wasting here in Malaysia? Because what we're seeing is a lot of people leaving the country. Obviously, you came back and you've started something up, but in your own experience, what has happened, and do you feel that you can stay here and not only make a living but have something educational with it?
Oh, I think it took me coming back. It took me being away and then coming back to realize how lucky and blessed we are to be here in Malaysia. Because, like when we were growing up, obviously the thought is grass is always greener on the other side, right? But sometimes I feel my biggest takeaway from being overseas and then coming back is we are so lucky to be back home and be able to make living just with playing music. And I can say in the States or in Boston specifically was where I lived, and it was so hard making a living just by playing music. I had to take up 2 jobs just to be able to play my own shows. So that's one of it. Like I'm very humbled by the fact that we are able to do it here. And also being in Malaysia, I guess it's the ground for so much potential. I see so many opportunities and so many room for us to grow and to create. We might not be, the most advanced or the most, progressive country in the world, specifically in the arts. But the best part about it is we have room to create and to grow and to move and to build things on, and I think as a young person starting into going into the working musician thing, like it's amazing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Now taking that conversation, and then when was the idea to set up Music Nation, and what was your motivation for that?
I wanted to start Music Nation when I was still in Boston teaching. So we get to do a 1-year working thing after graduation, right? And then when I see my ex-boss doing her thing, setting up her own business, having her own studio, it really motivated me to have something like that. And if it wasn't for her, shout out to Alyssa. If it wasn't for her, I don't think I would be the teacher or the musician or the educator that I am today. So all those things that Music Nation, the podcast, and also my teaching style that I have today, it's all pre-planned before I came back to Malaysia. Like, I'm a kind of person who needs a plan before I jump into it. So kind of like a guiding star.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not the spontaneous kind of person that will just go, see what happens
I
next and
cannot.
just, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the eldest child. My parents would kill me.
Oh, there we have it. The secret's out. The eldest child, supposedly the most responsible one.
Have to lah.
So a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders now. So you set up Music Nation. What was the specific kind of because it does say on your Facebook page, there's no exams kind of thing, and that was one thing that caught me. It's like a lot of kids, parents probably, a lot of kids will go, "Wow, that is something I'd like to do." So tell me more about that.
So I don't think, well, exams are good as one kind of assessment, but I feel being a musician, if you're just confined to the parameters of examinations to assess your skills, I think that's not enough. So my starting point of music education is learning, of course, through not just through your ears, but also through reading, but also through performance. I think that is my motto for Music Nation. You to learn to be a musician holistically, you have to be able to perform and play with other musicians as well.
Right.
Yeah, so that is my form of exam, where you have fun.
So no time for soloists or those types.
You can if you go up to perform. Yeah, not in front
Okay.
of one person, Yeah, yeah.
Right, right,
And
right.
like I feel uh, if you're performing and you're performing in front of one person versus a bunch of people, 20 people or 20 parents at least, the kind of nerves that you feel, the kind of mentality that you have, instead of just acing it, what about entertaining your audience, that kind of thing. It's such a different um, uh, perspective, I think, yeah, of approaching music. Yeah,
Very interesting. Anyway,
yeah.
for those of you who've just joined us, of course, you're here on the Berani Bersama Facebook page, where we are raising awareness, and also we're accepting money contributions. Do donate towards MERCY Malaysia's COVID-19 pandemic fund. Of course, the information is down there. For more information, please donate to us. Log on to www.launchgood.com/Berani Bersama MY. Now, continuing on to our conversations, I'm here with Jo from Music Nation. A one-person team, she says. Okay, so how long have you had Music Nation, and how has it been so far? Pre-MCO, that's the operative word. Pre-MCO. We'll talk about during MCO after this.
So I've had Music Nation for 18 months now. And all this while it's by myself. I'm the only teacher, and I'm the only host for Music Nation Speaks. So far, so good. Like obviously they are pros and cons, but being a one-man, one-woman thing, it's the pro is being able to have flexible time and to have control over everything. At the same time, it's a little bit challenging when there's no admin to do my schedule for me, or contact the parents. So sometimes it's kind of hard to draw the boundaries between client and friends when your phone is blowing up at 2 a.m., canceling classes and things like that. So, or I have to reschedule class because I have a sound check next day, or a show last minute, that kind of thing. But luckily, my relationship with my students are really, really good, and they understand. And surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, I guess I'm very fortunate to have them being very understanding of the nature of my work, and they are very encouraging as well. They're like, oh, if you have a show, tell me next time. I can bring my kids if it's not too late, that kind of thing. So it's a new Malaysia, I feel, where parents are actually encouraging their kids to go for shows, or parents themselves are going for shows. So yeah.
Where I forgot to ask, where is Music Nation based, and why did you choose that location?
Music Nation is based where I am based, where I
Oh,
go. Yeah, so I don't have a proper shop lot, or a space, but I do rent a studio in Drum Asia in Hatamas, where if the clients don't feel comfortable coming to my place, or if it's too far for me to go over to theirs, we meet up at Drum Asia to have our sessions. Yeah.
oh, interesting. So you're very much it's like a journeyman. You really are. It's like a one person team, and that does it
Yeah.
get very tiring
Yeah, so
You
post
know, what
MCO,
you need. You need a mother-in-law so you can have an office.
I do.
This is coming from my, Anyway,
Hopefully she doesn't charge me rent.
better not. We'll probably get you to like bring a piano and sing for every other night or something like that.
Right?
Yeah, that's payment enough for me. Live
As
performances.
payment,
Yeah.
right?
So how
Yeah.
far? Yeah, carry on first. Sorry.
Oh, so what I was saying before is pre MCO, a lot of my time was spent on traveling. So sometimes I spent like half an hour on the road just to get to another student's house. But I think now, during MCO, I'm very, very fortunate to still be able to teach online and not be on the road as often or at all, you know? So I think that's one of the pros during these times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how far were your clients, or how in a day? How many lessons would you be doing?
So it could go up to 5 students a day, and I keep it maximum at 5 because I don't believe in overworking and I don't believe in burning out. Uh, I mean, it does happen, but I don't want myself to get there, you know? So, luckily for me, it's all around Monkara, Hatamas area. Furthest I would go is Damansara or yeah, Damansara, I think. Yeah. So it's all around this area. But sometimes during peak hours, it can be crazy, even if it's 2 km away.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, let's quickly talk about during MCO. Obviously, everyone is stuck at home, and then I noticed that you did your Music Nation podcast, and you were speaking to a couple of really talented performers.
Yeah.
Was that something for you to just, ease your mind while you're stuck at home, or was something that you always wanted to do anyway?
Yeah, so Music Nation Speaks. It's the name of the podcast, and it started, I think, half a year ago. But it recently moved online. I mean, moved to a live streaming kind of setting because we're all stuck at home, right? But what other way to connect than through technology?
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I've always loved long form conversations, and I've been listening to people like Joe Rogan, um, Mind Valley, a lot of self help podcasts, and I I wanted to do it. I wanted um, to be the one who's asking the questions and learning from people. I think that's my number one motivation, to learn from people.
Hmm.
I don't believe in not learning after you finish school, you know, like there's no such thing. And the more people that I talk to, the more things that I learn from all walks of life. So
Right.
Music Nation Speaks, it's mostly for me, selfishly for me, actually, and other people get to benefit from it as well.
That's very interesting for you to say that you listen to Joe Rogan, because as you know, Joe Rogan has, wears many hats. One of them, he as an MMA, not only commentator but also an exponent. He used to fight as well.
Yeah.
Uh, just to let you on a secret, I'm actually the president of Malaysia MMA. So for you to say, oh, so do you actually watch MMA? Music and MMA,
I
that's like two very different, opposites, like North and South Pole. I'm very curious to
no.
ask you about this now. What's with the MMA and
I usually I don't actually. I don't understand. I mean, I don't see the point in beating each other up, but I guess there is an art form to it. But I am curious to learn, you know. So I've been looking at studios and things like that to learn either jiu-jitsu or Krav Maga. But we shall see where this goes.
well, you can always contact me if you need to a recommendation. You can always help. But anyway, that's for a separate conversation altogether. So excited, but that's for a separate conversation altogether. Now,
Yes.
let's talk about the performance that's happening tonight. You've managed to get someone really really good, Reza Salleh. Reza Salleh, namesake only, not nothing to do with family, but amazing singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Great voice. How did you go about doing that? And wow, I mean, tell us a bit more about that.
So, like I said, our music community, it's nice that we're all friends. So whenever I want to interview someone, or the name pops up, I'll just hit them a message on either Instagram or WhatsApp if I have the numbers. And so far, everybody has been very kind in sharing their time and their knowledge with me, and they're willing to go on to Music Nation and share their journey. And to get Reza, I think it's been a long time thing, because I remember starting out going for his open mic sessions back when the B was still, a restaurant
Yes.
slash
Yes.
performance space. Yeah. So that was
before
me.
it's a long time ago.
Exactly. Yeah, like I think 6-7 years ago, when I was 18 or 19.
Still young, still very young. Trust me. But you're only as young as you feel. Yeah. So and then.
Exactly. So, and then back then, we already know who Reza is and what he does and when he performs, that kind of thing. So to get to know people like Reza over the years, and to call them friends and colleagues in this scene, I think that's very. I'm very fortunate and very thankful to have people like that around me. Yeah.
Right, so just sort of unfortunate that we're not able to speak to him as well, because it would have been a really nice three-way conversations that we could talk about.
No, then I would be asking him questions with you.
Well, you've known him so long, you still got a lot more questions to ask him.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of it, like a lot of, and I'm sure you have this too, like we may know who they are and what they do, but we don't know their backstory. We don't know how they get into it. And I think Music Nation Speaks is a perfect platform to really get to know musicians, especially our homegrown Malaysian musicians. Like we have so many talented people here, but I think my main goal is to shine the spotlight back onto our own artists, and not so much on yeah I yeah.
Yeah, that's very well. It's very noble of you as well. Just to let everyone know, for those of you who just tuned in, welcome to our Berani Bersama Facebook page, where we are raising awareness through our influencers, through our celebrities, through our performers, to contribute and donate to the MERCY Malaysia's COVID-19 Pandemic Fund. And of course, please do donate. The donation page is here. You can read it down there on our page at www.launchgood.com/Berani Bersama MY, or you can get information from us at fb.com/BeraniBersama.my. I'll get that right. Now, a bit more about the performances before we end the show. Now, we've got Reza Salleh. What kind of performance is he curating, or are you curating it? And what kind of conversations did you guys have for this special performance at 9:00? And tell us where they can watch Reza perform.
So I'm not sure if Reza is going to perform, but it's going to be long an hour-long conversation about him and what his music journey is all about, and his challenges and also his rewards of being a musician here, and how his touring life, as well as hosting Moonshine open mics and things like that. So yeah, it's gonna be an interview like what you're doing right
With
now.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird being on the other end.
Now you know how it feels, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I like
Yeah.
asking the questions more.
Oh, you may ask, but I may
Yeah,
not answer it.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been
Oh,
doing
but
it
you
just slightly
can
longer. Yes, you
slightly
were saying.
longer.
Yeah.
How long?
That's just, yeah. Anyway,
Maybe after this, I can ask some tips from you.
of course, anytime.
Yeah.
Tips, and we
Yeah.
always like I said, what I like what you said earlier about constantly learning. We even at this juncture, I wouldn't say age. This juncture, we're all still learning, and it's really
Yeah.
good, really great having this kind of conversations. But
Yeah.
saying that, hopefully, what you should try when you do speak to him is basically
Yeah.
to get him to have a guitar or a piano next to him, so that when
Right?
you do have that conversation, it makes it even more interesting. That's a tip for you. So
Okay.
if it's possible for him, obviously, if he's got on the phone or thing, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether, I mean, I dare say that he will have a piano at home. If he doesn't, I'll be like very surprised. It's like saying,
I
do you have a piano at home?
For me, yeah, I
Yes,
do.
there we go.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know the really passionate ones, the really talented passionate ones should have, even if it was a small, like,
A MIDI
those electronic,
one.
yeah. Or even if
Yeah.
it's on an iPad, you would have one. Nowadays,
Yeah.
everyone's on an iPad. So
Right. But
what kind of
actually,
things?
yeah.
Yeah, what kind of things do you want to find out from Reza tonight that the audience would
Um,
like to know?
I think mostly about his music journey and um, how does it feel. I think the biggest thing that I want to know and I'm very curious about is not just for Reza but for everyone. It's how can we work on being better musicians and how do we contribute back to our music industry and in what areas can we improve on. How can we build each other up. Yeah. So that's one of it, and another one is specifically for Reza. How does it feel, or what are the ways to stand out as an original artist that writes your own songs, branding, that kind of thing. So I think these are unique to him, and any insight is very much appreciated.
So I'm going to pick his brains
Yeah.
and find out what what really what really motivates him, what's really. But you
Yeah.
personally, like you said,
Yeah.
this Music Nation speaks podcast. How
Mhm.
long do you plan to do it? Are you just going to plan to do it during the MCO, or is there any plans to keep it longer than that? Obviously, you may
Oh,
get busy, but are you going to keep it as a regular thing?
yeah. So before the MCO, I had, I think, 6 episodes. But that was when I was able to go to my friend's house, or they come
Yeah.
over and then we could have a cup of tea, take our own sweet time and then gossip afterwards. But obviously now we can't. So, but thank God for technology again. So even the after the MCO was lifted and it's safe to go out, now I can reach more people and do more at the comfort of my own house and theirs as well, and I can pick more people's brains.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very true, and it's very safe. You're staying it's
Yes.
very much social distancing in that sense. Well, you know
Yeah.
what? Tell us. I suppose for the audiences, again, where can they watch this podcast and basically how to get there?
Right. So Music Nation Speaks, it's available on Music Nation Facebook page. So if you just type in Music Nation, you'll be able to see all the details, all the posters and past videos of my conversations with different musicians and artists, as well as Music Nation on YouTube or Music Nation Speaks. I think if you type in Music Nation Speaks, you'll be able to find the episodes there as well. So usually they last from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And yeah, you'll hear us talk about everything music and more sometimes. So yeah.
Well, actually, hopefully, we look forward to seeing that as well, because it's going to be a very, very interesting conversation, and you'll definitely be able to pick his brains because he's all very, very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Now, there's a person says Kathy. Kathy C. She says
Kathy,
hello. So you want
hi.
to say hello back to her?
Hello.
Don't forget
I'll
to catch
probably,
her. Yes.
yeah, no. I'll probably go back after this ends. I'll be like scrolling through the comments or just, it's weird being on the other side.
Not really. You'll get more of that as you go along. But anyway, thank you very much, Joe, for joining us. I really look forward to your podcast at about 9 p.m. Any last words for the audiences, especially concerning Berani Bersama?
Yeah. Stay safe, stay sane, and the best part of this time, it's what I think what I've reflected on is finding my own new normal. So, and I urge us to find and express ourselves through any kind of art or music. So yeah, Berani Bersama.
Thank you very much. Now, for those of you,
Thank you.
Badaria Zoe said Zoe or Zoe said hello to you as well.
Hello.
So there's a quick hello from there. Right. Of course, for those of you out there, please do donate to a really good cause for Mercy Malaysia's COVID-19 pandemic fund. Again, the information is down there. For more information, please donate and log into www.launchgroup.com/Berani Bersama MY, or check us out on this Facebook page at Berani Bersama MY as well. On behalf of Berani Bersama, thank you very much, Joe, for joining us. And we look forward to maybe speak one day as well. And good luck
Yes.
tonight at 9 p.m.
Thank
Don't forget the
you.
real questions.
Yes. I thank you so much for having me. It's interesting, and yeah, let's talk more soon.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll catch you again at about 6 p.m. where we have 2 more lovely guests right here on our Facebook page. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.